All righty. We better turn this off before Frank starts dancing. We can't have that.
Nope.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Our Two Cents. I am your host, Tom Sellers, and my co-host and friend, Frank Hostica. Frank, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous, Tom. Thanks. How about yourself?
Good, but it looks like in the background we have
Oh yeah,
another gift we
Miss
didn't plan on.
Miss Kitters is joined us, sitting on the back of my chair. She doesn't
Very
say
nice.
that's not our guest tonight.
Right. No, it is not. And if she was, that would be an unplanned one. We do have a planned one, and we're going to talk about her in just a second. This is somebody you definitely want to hear from, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So, what's cool out there, Frank? What's going on in the world? How was your week?
Well, it's Wednesday because Monday being a holiday. Yeah, we're just getting rolling this week,
Right.
but it's halfway over. But yeah, things are going well, and it's certainly cooled off. Got the windows open instead of the air conditioning on, so that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But yeah, things are going good.
Very nice.
We
Very
can
nice.
talk to our guest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we could do banter for a while, but why would we do that? We have somebody we've been excited about having on the show since she agreed to do it, and it took some negotiating. Our people had to get with her people. There were contracts. There was a green room with some kind of. Wait a minute. She brought her own food.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring
blue
in
M&Ms, no blue M&Ms. I can't remember exactly what's supposed to happen there.
She's got some great food to talk about. We are going to bring in our friend, and probably, from the standpoint of what she does, and we're going to let her tell the story. She's one of the best in the business at what she does. So, without further ado, let's bring in our friend Janine Black. She's jumping in the screen right, and there she is. Janine, how you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm very good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad that your people and my people could get this to work out.
Well, I heard
You mean, Tom, you didn't tell me she could hear us when we were talking about her.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I heard some rumors that negotiations broke down over some bacon barbecue sauce. I don't know. I haven't heard the rest of that story, but we'll get it all figured out. So,
Oh my gosh.
so yeah, we try to make a funny here and again. So, Janine, tell us a little bit about you. Excuse me. Tell us about you.
Well, I live in a suburb of Chicago, so I'm in the Midwest, and I have been with Tastefully Simple for almost 17 years. In January will be 17 years, my longest job, believe it or not.
Wow.
So I actually went to school for marketing and public relations, and needless to say, on my husband's birthday 17 years ago, coming up December 5th, I was being told for the second time in like 10, 11 years that I was being laid off from corporate. And, something like telling your husband, hey, happy birthday, but I'm getting laid off again, just isn't something that I wanted to do.
Sure.
So I thought, well, why not try something like this? I went to a Tastefully Simple party. I'm going to date myself because obviously I've been around in the business. I went to my first party back in like 2000, 2001, fell in love with the products, hosted parties because, oh my gosh, if I can stir, I can cook. Our products are so simple. And then believe it or not, I thought, well, why not give something like this a try? Because the worst case scenario, we had our favorite foods in our house.
Right.
So
Well,
that's how I kind of got started.
that's kind of cool. And my story is not the same. I was not laid off from where I was working 5 years ago, but I was told that I was no longer needed. And I think I hit the same epiphany that you're about to describe, which was, you know what? Nobody is ever going to tell me that again. Is that kind of where you came from?
Yeah, I have to say I agree with you on that, Tom, because for me, I was like, okay, I was putting in the late hours, working overtime, doing what you need to do because that's what we do in corporate America.
Right.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I wanted something that was flexible, something that would work better, I want to be my own boss. I'm not going to lie, because I thought, hey, if I need a raise, I just do another home party, or I get on the phone and I contact some clients or work with my team members or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
So it's like, you have to kind of be disciplined. You kind of have to, think outside the box as someone in business for yourself, and just not give up.
Right. And
So,
that is a huge thing right there. I'm sorry, Frank, go ahead.
so you kind of told us how you found Tastefully Simple, and um, you, were you looking for? Did you think this is what you wanted to do, something like this, or it just kind of happened when you got introduced to it? You said, "Hey, I think I can do this."
Well, actually, it's a funny story, because if you would ask my upline, Deanne, in Tastefully Simple, she would say that, well, Janine laughed at me a few times when I would ask her about the opportunity and stuff, but I just wasn't, it's one of those things I wasn't ready, if that makes sense, because I had
Yeah.
tried another direct sales company in the past. For me, I still use their products, love it, but it just wasn't a good fit. And for me, well, I love to eat. I love to drink. We have beverages in our line too. So it's one of those things. So I'm like, it's a lot easier to talk about something that you're passionate about.
Hmm.
Sure.
Absolutely. But it kind of quasi answers the next question. My next question would be: so was Tastefully Simple your first try at well, we'll say network marketing or multi-level marketing, but it
No.
was also your first attempt at being an entrepreneur?
Right. No, I did attempt something else in the past.
Hmm.
And like I said, I love direct sales. I love anyone who's in business for themselves. That company was just not a good fit for me. So
Sure.
one thing that I like to tell people is, if they are looking for to do something as a side hustle, or perhaps, you know, something happens that, okay, like with my situation and Tom's, well, okay, your plan B is now your plan A. You want to do something that you're passionate about, that you love and enjoy, because if you're not liking what you do, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're not going to be as successful. Because I sell food products, if I'm not eating it, not religiously, but I mean, we do eat the products every day. But if I wasn't doing that and sharing, my ideas and recipes with my clients, and that, to tell them exactly how we're using it, well, how can I expect Tom to want his, smoky bacon barbecue sauce and try it if he did not have some tips or ideas on what to try it on?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think, and you hit on a nerve right there. I'm going to exploit a little bit. And
Uh-oh.
I think all of us would be in agreement. Um, it's hard to speak passionately, intelligently, um, and convey a message to somebody about something you don't use or you
Right.
don't like. Um, I was a guy in the car business. I seems like whatever car I was selling, I owned. And today, in fact, I had a long conversation with a lady from New York, and she says, you know, how long have you been using this? She didn't ask me how long I'd been selling it. She said, how long have I been using it? Because I
Right.
use my product every day to do what I do. And I know Frank, Frank with his businesses, these are things that we use. We don't just sell them. And that
Right.
is a huge advantage. There are a lot of people out there that are selling things. They don't own them. They don't use them. They know how to go through a sales script. And that to me is not an advantage.
I agree. So yeah, I mean, part of sales is the transference of belief. So you're transferring your belief in something to somebody else and
Right.
getting them to see that confidence and that passion you have for what you do. So I think that's part of it. And Janine,
Right.
you've been with Tastefully Simple now for 17 years. That's impressive in itself. Staying with them, because I see meet a lot of people out networking or at Chamber of Commerce or different things, and yeah, they've tried more than one, because as you said, the one I was it with wasn't a good fit, or whatever the case may be. But there's other people that if they've been in direct sales or some type of home-based business like you're in,
Mhm.
17 years in, they're on their 15th company
Right,
or something.
right.
So, obviously there's something there. But tell us about that. You've been there a long time. Tell us what that looks like. How yeah, I'm sticking with this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to build this into something.
Well, I'm one of those people that I don't do anything partially or half, fill in the
That's okay.
blank.
This is an
Um,
adult show. You can get away with that here.
okay,
Internet radio.
half-ass.
There you go.
I'm not going to be bleeped. So it's one of those things that's like, I don't see myself doing something else. And even my husband of 26 years, Howard, says, I don't see you doing anything else either. We use the products, we love it. We have a trailer to campground that actually, through my Tasteless Simple business and networking, is how we got into there. And, my business works with me wherever I'm at because I can do it from home. I'm, doing freezer meal workshops. I'm doing different things with fellow campers at our campground. So it's just one of those things for me. My business is a good fit, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's
Yeah.
great. So you not only do you market the product, sell the product, your company also offers an opportunity, which is how you got involved. But
Right.
that's offered you an opportunity to build a team. So in 17 years, you've built quite a team. How many people are on your team or in your team?
I can tell you my first three lines, and it goes a lot further deep, if that makes sense, because I don't,
Sure.
with our reports, I can only see 3 lines deep, but I know I'm at least 5, 6 lines deep. So in my
Okay.
first 3 lines, I have 160 people. But I can say that with COVID, everyone's eating at home. We only sell to people who eat, and oh my gosh, everyone watching this eats. And in the month of April, my team size increased 80% in 1 month.
Wow.
And we keep growing. And, it's one of those things that, for anyone looking for, if it's a side hustle or whatever it is, there's a lot of different opportunities out there. It's not necessarily Tastefully Simple. There's a lot of other great companies out there as well. So I just invite, if you are looking for something, just check it out. And if someone is wanting to find out more about Tastefully Simple, I would love to chat with them about it.
Awesome.
I
So
want to. I want to jump in on 2 points here, and then I'll give it right back to you, Frank. I promise.
go ahead.
Janine will not cop to this. I'm telling you right now because it's just not who she is. However, I have known Janine for several years and have followed her on Facebook and other places. And I know that about every other month or so, she has been given an award of some kind for her team, and which is directly related to team building. And that's where I want to go.
Sure.
How do you, what things do you do to build a successful team?
Well, first of all, we have a team Facebook group. There's a lot of great support between our team and, of course, with what the training that Teams with Simple Corporate offers. But one thing that my team knows is that what you see with, I mean, and you guys know because you guys have known me for years, what you see is what you get. I don't BS anybody. I'm
Right.
real with my team. I'm out there working just like everybody else, doing, our home parties, doing online parties, fundraisers, and so forth. So I'm definitely a model for my team. I
Mhm.
don't ask them to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. One thing I mentioned earlier in our conversation here is that, you do have to think outside the box. And so my team, we've got a lot of great leaders. Everybody has something different that they bring to the table.
Right.
And as a leader, you need to utilize the strengths of your team, let them shine. We usually do a monthly meeting in person, but because of COVID, obviously, we've been doing it via Zoom now since March. We have our next one coming up in a couple weeks. But the thing of it is, I'm always doing whatever I can to let my other team members shine, to have them share, have them not necessarily train, but just share what's working for them. I'm also a firm believer, my team knows this and everyone in my business knows this. I'm a firm believer in product knowledge. And
Right.
so with our meetings, even though we aren't doing it in person, we're
Mhm.
doing it via Zoom, we're still talking about what we've had for dinner, if it wasn't that night, at least the day before, because you need to be the experts on your product.
Right.
And you need to share the benefits with them and not just selling either. But
Right.
but I can say that I've learned from watching others in the business, not just Tastefully Simple, but others. And I do bounce ideas. I have some accountability partners in Tastefully Simple and non. That
Mhm.
are in some other direct sales businesses too, and we bounce ideas off of it. And I think that that's important, whether if you're a leader in a company or just trying to get into business like this for yourself, because I always tell my team, yeah, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because I'm here to help them. And I don't care what line they're in. If they're having some trouble, they can reach out to me and they know it. And for me, one of the things I didn't share earlier was one of the reasons why I did want to get into doing, a home-based business was because my husband Howard and I, we wanted to start a family.
Sure.
That was not feasible, being honest, not feasible, with medical and everything else.
Sure.
And so my team knows, and it's kind of joked about a little bit, but it's the honest to God's truth. My team is my family.
Right.
And I don't take anything, of any of the awards I've earned for myself, which I've earned many years, or for my team, because we actually did just promote, actually it was effective July 1st to the top leadership level in the company, but I don't take any of that for granted.
Right.
And my team knows how grateful, I don't know if any of them are watching tonight, but they know how grateful and know how proud I am of them to see them shine.
Sure.
Because here's a quote by Zig Ziglar that when you help enough people get what they want, you in return will get what you want.
Yep.
And so, doesn't matter what business you're in for that. I love Zig Ziglar.
And that's, I mean, and what you hit on there is, I mean, you define what a leader is, and that is that is everything you just described. I can add nothing to that. I'm going to pose a question to both of you, and I know the answer I'm going to get, but let's just get it out there for people to hear. Um, you made mention that in the past month, your the number of people coming in has increased by 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know within my business, the numbers are up a lot as well. And I think I know the answer. And again, let's see if you all agree with me. There are a ton of people right now that are worried. They maybe have lost a good bit of income. Maybe they've lost a job. Um, Maybe that job is not coming back. And a lot of people are starting to look at things the way I did 5 years ago and you did 17 years ago. And that is they are looking for an opportunity to write their own paycheck and not find themselves in a position like this again. Would you guys agree with me that there is a lot of opportunity given this pandemic and all this panic and all these other things? There's a huge opportunity for people to go out and make themselves a lot of money and be able to live the life they want to based on that one decision.
Oh, I totally agree because I can just tell you from experience on at least a handful of team members that have were currently on my team before COVID hit, where
Mhm.
they did take a pay decrease and perhaps a couple of them did, get furloughed and whatever, but they
Sure.
had this opportunity then to, okay, I can sit and be bitter, or I can choose to make a better future for myself and my family. So they were able to amp up their Tastefully Simple business during this time. And now some
Mhm.
of them are back to work because they're teachers or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
So it gives them that opportunity to do what they need to do when they need to do it. And that's the best part about it. It is flexible,
Right.
but working it is not optional.
Right. No, it's, I
Yeah.
don't care what it is. If you don't work it, it don't
Right.
work, period.
Right.
Frank, what's your take?
Yeah, it's not there is some passive income that comes from our efforts, but it's not you got to work to get it. Doesn't start automatically passive. You got to work and work it up to being passive or residual income.
Right.
But yeah, I would agree. So my story is just a little different. I worked for the postal service for over 30 years, but I got introduced to one of the companies I work with. I got introduced to Legal Shield in the about 12 years ago, and got the product, liked the product, and was offered, well, there's an opportunity that goes with this too. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm at the end of my postal career, and I'm a little too young to be sitting around doing nothing. So why don't I start doing something now? So when the opportunity to retire comes along, or the time comes, I've got something else to do, and I'll have it up and running already. And that's kind of how I got started, part-time, spare time. And then when I retired 8 years ago, I had things in place to just hit the ground running and really start working and building a pretty decent side business and creating another income stream. So, and yes, so to anyone out there, uh, and it's the new thing, maybe not the new thing to do, but becoming a lot more uh, popular or commonplace. Get a side gig going. There's all kinds of things out there. You can drive Uber in your spare time. You can go grocery shopping for other people in your spare time. There's all kinds of things that you can do, including getting involved in direct sales, network marketing, or some other type of business that you can do spare time, part time, and start creating that income stream to increase your income or to be that plan B, as you said earlier, Janine.
Right.
Become a plan B, because you never know when plan A is going to get pulled off from under you, which we saw happen to a lot of people earlier
Right.
this year.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we are going to go to our first commercial break and bring in our first sponsor. Somebody's got to pay the bills around here, so we're going to get that first one up. And when we come back, we are going to continue talking with Janine, and we're going to get into some nuts and bolts stuff. So hang tight. We will be right back. Hey, business owners, have you ever been treated unfairly? Signed a contract that you didn't understand? Have customers who haven't paid you? I'm Frank with Hostica Assurance, and we want to level the playing field. Your business can have 24/7 access to an attorney for an annual cost which is less than 1 hour of an attorney billing fee. 815-347-0181. Hostica Assurance. We keep the stressing and the guessing out of your business legal matters.
And we're back. Or you
We're
and I are back. What happened to Tom? We don't know. There he
I don't
is.
know. He
Shuffled
was
the
taking a
deck on
nap.
us.
I
There we
thought
are.
about it. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of that Hostica Assurance guy, there's his number. I highly recommend having a conversation with him. And I say that because he's my friend, but I'm also a customer. So, Janine, coming back to you and your 17 years of running your own business from home. So let's get into some nuts and bolts things. Now,
Okay.
you have a marketing degree, and I've talked with you enough times. You understand marketing. So tell me, what is it you do to help bring in new customers and new recruits?
Well, for us, I don't know, a lot of companies out there will have different things. I can
Mhm.
probably say that Tasteless Simple actually provides their consultants with a lot of great marketing tools as far as like new newsletters, different images and things like that that we can share on, Facebook and different things. But I do have my own VIP group on Facebook. my own business page. So it's Janine Black, Independent Taste with Simple Consultant for anyone who wants to check that out. But also, it's one of those things where you have, as an entrepreneur and in doesn't matter what you have, you need to be able to think outside the box. And like with us, I can say that, with Tastefully Simple, for those of you, if you're not familiar with it, we do tasting parties, we do fundraisers, we work with companies for business gifts, and do online parties as well. And I do work with people on one because we do have some great meal kits. But think mid-March when everything went down things changed. Well, prior to that, backtrack for a second. I was actually part of a team of like, I don't know, six other Teams with Simple leaders that they actually came and they recorded us doing our own live tasting parties. So I had HQ at my house before Christmas in December to do all this. They just rolled out, all this great training for tasting parties. And then voila, COVID hits. And I have to say that Tastefully Simple, we have a great company, a great team at headquarters where they pivoted. We partnered with Brenda Stir, who's an expert on Facebook parties, and we totally pivoted. We had to go and do a lot of our business now online. And so you have to be able to change and adapt. I would not be in business 17 years. I know you guys would be in business as long as you guys are if you're not willing to change and adapt. But I'm always checking in with my clients. If I'm doing something, if I'm going to be in their area, I'm always reaching out to them to see what they need, send them recipe ideas. With the holidays coming up, what can I help you out with for gifts? Whatever the case may be. So I'm always trying to think about the consumer and also making sure I'm putting their needs first as far as what they want.
Okay.
But definitely social media referrals, just word of mouth. I mean, I've got so many people that have referred me over the years because they know, oh, when they hear Janine Black with Tastefully Simple, they know that they're going to be treated, they're going to be treated well.
Right. Now, and for those who need a referral, I can give you my top 10 Tastefully Simple products, as I'm pretty sure Frank can as well.
Yeah.
I can. Onion, bacon.
There you go. There you go.
Start with seasoned pepper's really good. I really enjoy using the spices and that. But yeah, I've got there's some stuff in the fridge, some different sauces in the fridge as well.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this question. And these are questions that, or responses I hear a lot of the time. Now, I know you've been doing this a long time. You've seen a ton of people come through your organization. Some come and go, some are with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that come and go, especially in a short period of time, correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, give me your point on it. The narrative is the same. I'm being polite here.
The narrative.
the reason that they can no longer do this is the same.
I would have to say there's different reasons why
Mm-hmm.
people come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it's not a good fit. I'll say that. Things
Sure.
change. I've actually had a couple on my team that they can no longer eat it because they were diagnosed with some major, health, I don't want to say health problems, but that obviously our products didn't work for them, if
Sure.
that makes sense. Because our products are for those of you that don't know, our products are TSC well, so there's no hydrogenated fats, no added colors, no preservatives. From that standpoint, a lot of them do not contain gluten ingredients. However, though, if someone is extremely celiac or if there's something a little bit more with that, well, then, we don't want anyone getting sick or anything,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like that, because we're not a dietitian, we're not, a nutritionalist.
Right.
But I have seen different reasons, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily the same, but there's different reasons and good reasons, and a lot of them are still, we keep in touch. Those that were on my team, they still, order from me, host parties, get their holiday gifts, for people and so forth. So I try to keep a good relationship, not only with my current clients and team members, but just with everybody because, you never know. And sometimes I've had team members that have gone and then things change and they've come back. So, just really
Sure.
depends upon the season for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Things change and people come and go. That's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
so again, and yet here you are, 17 years, consistent, stayed with it, been with it. So what's your secret? What's your secret
I,
to your success in that regard, and your longevity with your company?
I work my business every day. I do work from home. I do work from my campground. I'm, not gonna lie, if I'm able to, COVID, I can't see my dad who's 87, who I, help him out a lot, who's 4 hours away, but thank God for Zoom. But it's one of those things, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you have to touch your business every day. You need to let people know you're in business. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm a Tasteless Simple consultant," and just kind of put it out there and then hope for things to come to you. You need to open up your mouth. It's one of those things if you have logo wear, and anything that helps, promote your company, you need to do that. You need to be a walking billboard, so people do see what you are doing. But I love what I do. Honestly, I love what I do. And I don't see myself doing something differently, believe it or not. But I work my business every day. I touch it every day, sometimes maybe just a little, but I'm still touching it. And you have to be consistent and bless you. And so, depending upon what your business is, you just need to make sure that whatever you're doing, you need to keep going to keep that consistency for what you want out of your business. And I'm always asking others for help too. I actually just got done. We did a book club, some of us with Tastefully Simple with John O'Leary. We just had our last call for that one today on his book In Awe. And so I do like to read motivational books and, things like that as well to help me.
And you touched on the direction I was trying to get to. Only you're far nicer than I am. So let me
Oh,
go back to my point.
okay.
Um, and I'm not being rude, but I'm trying to make the point. Um, I have seen people within my business, some that are doing great, some that have been with me almost since day one. I've seen others they come and go and they're here and gone quickly. And when I was getting to the common thread of it, the common thread was basically the same. Um, I'm not willing to work that hard. The point of your own business, your own sweat evades many, and that's kind of where I was going with that.
No, I agree because actually, believe it or not, I'm trying to, if I can think of the number, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but actually, it's a high number of T's with Civil consultants nationwide. I don't remember if it's like 80% or more that actually work a full-time job and they do Tastefully Simple successfully.
Sure.
So just if you only have, you know, say 5 or 10 hours a week to
Right.
work your Tastefully Simple business or whatever business you're doing, you better bet your butt, you better be taking that time to follow up with leads, contacting clients, working with your team members, whatever it is. But you need to be focused on how and prioritize on how you are going to work those 5 to 10 hours. So if you're doing Facebook parties, then okay, that's like X amount. And then if you're training your team, you just have to budget and manage your time.
Right. Right. And again, it comes down to the same thing, kind of where we started with this.
Yeah.
As soon as you go out on your own, the work the work doesn't stop. I was recently at a granddaughter's birthday party, and I had my phone was just blowing up, and somebody said, "What? Aren't you off today?" It's like, yeah, I don't know that I'm ever really completely off. So, anywho, Frank,
So how do you
thanks
stay
much.
how do you stay organized, stay motivated? How do you manage your team and motivate others? What are some of the tips you could share with people who are looking to build a team
Mhm.
and motivate them to success and be successful and tastefully simple
Well, I
or in
do
any
work.
for that
Oh,
matter.
oops. Sorry, Frank, didn't mean to interrupt you there. I work with those who want to be worked with. I always, I do recognition. I feel that with, working in corporate in my past life, you didn't get enough recognition of good things. So I'm a firm believer in recognizing and training and motivating and informing my team. So I do that well with emails, texts. I have to, you have to reach your team members how they want to be reached. If they're not on Facebook, you're not going to give them information in a team Facebook group. You know what I mean? You're going to call them or you're going to text them or whatever the case may be. But I do always put motivational quotes. I love to give them little motivational videos and things too to help keep them going. I do like to, you could say, I'm their cheerleader if you want to say that, because, you have to keep yourself going. And I do give them, I have a library of a lot of different books, especially like with the John O'Leary one I just mentioned. So my team members do borrow those things from me periodically too. But
Sure.
we do training calls, coaching calls, and again, I work with those who want to be worked with. So you have those that, like Tom mentioned earlier, they're just kind of there and they kind of aren't doing as much. And that's totally fine. When they're ready, then I'm ready to work with them. But anyone in having a team, you have to work with those who want to be worked with. And that's where you have to spend your time
Right.
because, that 20% of the whole company, not the whole company, but 20% of the business will be, or 20% of your team will be doing 80% of, your team's business. So you need to work on that. And I can say that I always strive to do better than how I did myself over the past year.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of not really an expectation, but if Mama Bear's doing that, I think everybody else should do that too. So that's why our team has earned a lot in growth bonuses. Our team actually was the only team. Um, in the whole company that got recognized at our last conference in July, which was done virtually, of course,
Sure.
for having growth bonuses over the last 11 or 12 quarters since they started this bonus.
Hmm.
So, it's one of those things you just want to be better than you were yesterday, just to keep moving forward.
Right.
So,
Right. And you hit on a good point there about helping those who want to help. And to me, that definition is the one who's actually doing the work. When you can go back and say, okay, did you do this, this, and this? And they say yes, and you can see that it's been done. That's somebody I'm going to spend more time with than the guy or person who says, I didn't have time. Well, you know what? This is your gig. If you don't have the time, how's it ever going to get done? And
amen.
if it's about time, you make time for what you want. You make time to watch TV. You can make time to go to work.
Right.
So thanks, Alec Kolakowski, for joining us and making some comments. Alex added what most people need as an accountability partner because we're all by nature a little bit lazy, and I think that's part of it. You know, we need somebody to push us, prompt us, encourage us, and keep us motivated. I guess sometimes when we get discouraged, whatever. So that's an important part of it. But Janine, so you got your company offers recognition. You mentioned a couple things. You have different contests and things like that. You can earn bonuses, earn trips, things like that. Do you do anything personally to recognize or reward people on your team for their efforts beyond what might come from the company or the corporate level in your company?
Yeah, I do. During our team meetings that we have via, obviously not in person, but via Zoom right now, I do recognize them. They do get, because I can't give them things in person, so they're getting things in the mail from me more now. But then
Cool.
also on our team Facebook group, the first of the month, the first thing I do after I gotta have coffee first, gotta have that. But then I do go on our team Facebook group and do recognize everybody there. And then I also do that on their own personal timelines as well for Facebook for their friends and family to see what their Tastely Simple consultant did last month to help cheer them on and hopefully spark some interest for them as well. Because when we do our team meetings in person, I mentioned earlier about how I strive with product knowledge. Well, everyone brings a dish to pass that's made with our products, and then we do a Facebook Live, and then I have everyone tagged who's in it, and I say, that if you're a consultant in this room, and I pan around because everyone does say what they made, to share with everyone in Facebook land, so that this way, if their consultant is in the room, they can contact them to, place an order, book a party, or better yet, find out more about our awesome opportunity. So I'm always doing whatever I can to toot their horn. I love doing that. I love recognizing them. I don't, I'm a little bit, you guys know I'm a little bit humble and stuff, so I don't toot my horn as much, but I love tooting their horn. I toot my horns for them.
Awesome. So you alluded to it a little bit when you talked about, you mentioned a particular offer, John O'Leary. You brought a quote from Ziglar. So obviously you do spend some time reading or listening to different stuff. So you consider personal development a key component for anybody that works from home. Tell us a little bit more about maybe some of the things you've done that grow over the years with you and your business and to be successful. Because you don't have anybody telling you what to do.
No, I mean you have to be disciplined, right? So I have had some friends in the business, people in Tastefully Simple and others that they said, you got to get your motivation. If you have to get that motivation within yourself because there's nobody there's nobody cracking a whip at you to say, oh my gosh, Janine, did you make those 10 calls? Did you do this? Did you, you have to do it for yourself. So I do get John Maxwell. I love him. I've signed up for his emails. He sends out a little Max, what's it? Minute with Maxwell, which you get every day. So I mean, I'm doing all kinds of things like that, and it's interesting because I have my husband. He's like, "Oh, what did John say today?" You know, John, whoever. So it's one of those things. I'm sharing it. We actually have our 25-year-old nephew living with us right now, which is interesting for the two of us who 26 years of marriage, and you heard me earlier, weren't able to have kids. So yeah, so it's a little bit different in the Black household here right now. But I'm sharing what I'm learning out of the book with them because it doesn't matter what business you're in or what trade or whatever. We all need that motivation. We all need, that guidance, to have that positive energy in our lives because there's enough negativity and we definitely need that positivity in our lives. And if we can share it with others, that's what I love to do.
Great.
So what would you, because believe it or not, we're down to about 15, 20 minutes now. This has gone by quickly as it always does.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give? So let's say somebody's looking at, hey, I kind of want to do what Janine's doing. What advice would you give them to start? Where should they start?
If they are wanting to look into Tastefully Simple, I would have a little information, a little 15-minute audio that they could listen to answer some of their questions, and then I would be able to talk to them more one-on-one with how they answered some of the questions in that little audio, so I
Sure.
could guide them accordingly. Our company does have an awesome fast start program for anyone starting Tastefully Simple. So in their first 10 weeks of business, they can earn a lot in cash bonuses on top of their commissions.
Okay.
So I work with them. Obviously, it's more one-on-one to find out what they want and to meet their needs because obviously you have to have matched expectations when you are working with somebody. But
Mhm.
if it's not necessarily Tastefully Simple, I would just tell them, make a list, not necessarily a pros and cons list, but just make a list of things that you like to do. What do you
Sure.
currently use? Because you want to find something that's a good fit. And it's not like you try it for a while, you kind of date it. It's not like you're marrying it. So you
Right.
try something for a while. If it's not a good fit for you, like I mentioned earlier, I tried something else, it wasn't a good fit. Well, then, obviously I came across, Tastefully Simple, and I'm just very blessed to have Tastefully Simple in my life.
Sure.
Mhm.
How can people get a hold of you? Now I've got your number scrolling across the bottom, and
Right.
seems like before we went on, you'd mentioned something about a something, and I'll let you tell it.
Something about a
Something about a,
something.
something about
Promo code.
There's a no background noise.
something about a code.
Oh, it's National I Love Food Day. So, if you do want to try our products, we have some great meal kits as well. That number that's rolling on the screen is my cell phone. Send me a text. I can, send you the promo code and my website to check it out. But also, people can email me too at tsjanine@yahoo.com. And maybe you guys, I don't know if you guys can put my website in a link or something below or whatever, how you guys do that. But if not,
Sure can.
uh,
I'm
my
gonna put it in
website,
right now.
oh, okay. My
Go ahead.
website is www.tsbyjanine.com. And again, that has my contact information on there as well. So, mhm.
All righty. It is up there.
Cool. Thank you so much.
So Janine, you mentioned when you're talking, hey, home-based business, you work for yourself, you work from home, or you work from wherever you want to work. Um,
Right.
but you work on your own time when you want. But as you mentioned earlier, when you're talking about in order to be successful, in order to build a team and all that, you have to touch your business every day in
Right.
some way. Maybe not for a lot of hours or whatever, but you have to touch it, do
Mhm.
something. So how do you balance uh, your work and your home life when you're working when your work's always right there, maybe in the spare bedroom or the kitchen table or the home office, whatever you want to call that space
Right.
in your home that you use, or your trailer when you're up at your summer home, your vacation home up in
Right.
Wisconsin. How do you balance that um, work and your personal life or home life, as we'll call it, to make it all work?
Well, one of the things that if you asked my husband, if you asked Howie, he would probably say, "Oh, she probably does, she still does too much." But just as a prime example, Monday was my birthday, so I did have to
Happy
finish my
birthday.
reading. Thank you. I did have to finish the last part of my reading for the book club. So then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. So watched My Young and the Restless, had some hot toddies. We went for a walk around the campground and then we just sat by a campfire and had beverages all day because I told you I work hard, but I play hard too. So one of those things where
Right?
it's like, you know what? You have to take time to unplug, you know. And, if Howie and I are going to do something, if we're going to watch a movie or whatever, you have to unplug. You need to be present with who you're with at that time. I don't have the kids. Well, I kind of do now, with my nephew here, but, no, you have to be present with who you're with because that's really important. So you can't just be, sitting on the phone, everyone in the living room or wherever you're at sitting on the phone and, everyone's on their phones doing stuff. So you really need to be present. So set business hours for yourself. For those of you that do have kids, younger kids, I learned this at a conference years ago and I applied it to my dog and it actually worked, until we had to put him down last year. But you have special toys for when mom or dad are working. So, like, if you have younger ones at home, have some special toys or a special video or something that they watch. If it's 15 minutes to a half hour, so if they're watching, SpongeBob SquarePants, they can watch that while you are getting your calls in, or sending those emails to clients or Facebook messages or whatever. But just you have to be able to reach out to people. So, It's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you. I never contact people, after, definitely after not 9 o'clock at night. I try to shut down on that as far as contacting people, but I also don't contact people really early either, unless I know that they're up, or you know what I mean, they're friends of mine,
Sure.
different story. But you do have to set business hours for yourself. And that's huge. If it's just a half hour after dinner, you're gonna go in your office, close the door to make phone calls for your business or whatever, then do that. Just tell your family, you guys watch, I don't even know what's on TV anymore. I don't watch a lot of TV, but other than Young and the Restless and a couple of other shows. But hey, gotta watch my shows. But the point is, you have to have that family support. And I have to say that that's one thing too that I think that has helped me to stay in this so long is my support. Um, my husband Howard, he goes by Howie, of 26 years. He's my biggest supporter. I mean, there was a few years ago, you have those ups and downs in the business, and yeah, you don't know. Sometimes there's times where, oh my gosh, do I want to do this anymore? Things changed or whatever. And I have to say, I'm so glad that, my rock, my other half, my husband, that he said, no, keep going, keep going. So you got to have that support system, because that I think is truly a huge part of someone being successful in any business, and having them help you behind the scenes or whatever, or if they are actively involved with you on it, totally up to you on that. Just having that love and support system from your spouse, your family, whoever it is, your best friend, your dog, whoever. I mean, it does help.
Very good. Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So,
Tom, you're up.
so I don't know. I don't know if I'm up. We are in the closing minutes here, and
Oh no.
as I normally do, I have a call to get on right after this with a mastermind group I belong to. Um, but I wanted to thank you, Janine, for coming on and talking.
Sure.
We've been looking forward to having you on the show, and we also wanted to give people out there a taste of a direct sales company. We haven't had many of those on at this point, um, and showing that it can be done. It can be done for a long time. I mean, 17 years is incredible. And the fact that, like I say, I always see that you're being awarded something about every other month. So who better to have talking about this than you?
Oh, thank you.
And hopefully we can perhaps get our people and your people to get together again, bring you back, talk a little more, uh, and we'll get that negotiating started.
Okay.
Awesome.
Frank, any final thoughts before we shut down for
No,
the?
Tom, you didn't run. What about the other sponsors?
We got so kind of caught up
Oh
in
my.
things that we'll run the tsellers.com spot maybe twice next time or something. We'll figure it out.
All right. Very good. But Janine, again, thank you. We've been the three of us have been in a marketing group or a referral group together for I would
Ever.
say many years, but several years at this point.
A few.
Always enjoy your participation and contributions to that group. Grown to really respect what you do in your business, and as Tom says, you're always being you're not at a meeting because you're traveling. You won another script, or you had this going on, or you earned some. Hey, God bless you. You've done a great job. You've earned everything you've gotten, and I know just by virtue of the fact that you've built a pretty significant team, and that team continues to grow. You're doing something right to make those things happen. Success doesn't happen by accident, and that's a tribute to you and your commitment to it and your persistence with it. So kudos to you for everything you've done, and we do appreciate you being on and sharing your experience with us today.
Thank you for
Hopefully,
having me. This
hopefully
was
those in the
fun.
audience got something out of it as well.
Oh,
And I
definitely.
and I am sure that they did. Again, we want to thank you for joining us at our 2 cents. Please get the word out, get some other people looking here. We actually run this on a couple of different platforms at the same time. So please get it out to people that are either working at home as an entrepreneur or want to. We want them to hear us and ask questions and get involved. I want to thank Alex for his input as well. Always good to hear from you, Alex. And we have some feedback going on there, and nobody wants to hear me say the same thing twice. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We will see you next week at our 2 cents.
Thanks, all. Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.